Bitcoin broke another record. It's doubled in price in the past month alone.
There will be other currencies like it that may be even better.
The main currency you've probably heard about is Bitcoin. Its value exploded from around $1,000 at the beginning of the year to $9,000 by November to nearly $20,000 by December.
Bitcoin is better than currency in that you don't have to be physically in the same place. And, of course, for large transactions, currency can get pretty inconvenient.
2,000, 5,000, 10,000. Rick Falkvenia does an excellent analysis. He predicts that Bitcoin will capture between 1 and 10% of the global Forex market, which implies a price of between $100,000 to $1 million per Bitcoin.
What's up, crypto junkies? It's Jay, and this is a tutorial video. In this tutorial video, I'm going to break down Fibonacci extensions and trend Fibonacci extensions. That's this guy right here and this guy right here. This is my favorites bar, but you can easily get to both of these right here and just hit the star. So fib retracement and trend-based fib extension, which I think I called it a trend-based fib retracement. I don't know. Fib retracement and the trend fib extension. Got to be particular. I'm on BTC to US dollar on the 1 day. You see I've already got some lines on here, as well as this dotted line is where the price action is right now. But the purple ones, I believe, are lines that I wasn't really that sure of, but I wanted to mark them. And black are lines that I'm pretty sure about. I'm pretty certain. It's fairly easy, actually, to come out to like a 1 day, a 1 week, a 1 month chart and start to map out significant lines. And the funny thing is once you end up snapping some fibs over the top, you find that there is what we call confluence, and also too, nice little ego boost knowing that you're right. All right, so let's zoom way the F out here. We're gonna go back to a time and a place when you could get a lot of Bitcoin for a little bit of money. And we are going to, there we go. Here's how fib retracements work. What we essentially want to do is we pick a time frame. So if we come all the way back to 2017, understand that from 2017 to this peak, so we fib from the bottom to the top, right? That's the basics of a fib extension, is we are essentially trying to see a trend and see what's going on in it. We want to get our significant Fibonacci marks, okay? I'm not going to talk about Fibonacci itself because I feel like the Fibonacci sequence is really well known. And if you've been even brand new in crypto, but you've been around for a little bit, you've heard about this. Fibonacci sequence is literally in everything. It's in flowers, it's in the planet, it's in everything in the world around us. It is just a symmetrical mathematical way to break things down. And there are more significant lines than others. We have one, which is the 50% line, which is not even a Fibonacci, part of the Fibonacci sequence, but it is very significant for markets, okay? Not just crypto, but Forex, commodities, S&P 500, etc. Okay, so just know that whatever time frame you pick, essentially, if you were to project that into the future, that's what you should expect time frame wise. And there is another fib time zone tool. You could use that as well, and it basically takes the vertical lines and plots them horizontally. Not always accurate. I don't use it that often myself, but still another tool in your arsenal. So we take and we snap from there to there, let's say, and this is our first set of lines. Let's come here to settings just so you can get an idea of what's going on. Let me just move that back to the original thin line so that it's not confusing you. And I've got some changes made because I like certain levels. So 786 I like, 382, 236, those are the most common ones you'll see. But we bring in this 50% line, even though, like I said, it's not part of the Fibonacci sequence, but it is a huge indicator. It's an entry point and an exit point for a lot of swing traders. It's just an important line, so I keep it in there. And then I got the 618, but I've beefed that up a little bit, and I got a 65 line as well, because this is called the golden zone or golden area, whatever you want to call it. It's the sweet spot, baby. So I've got both 618, which is a standard fib line. That is one of the most important lines, actually. And I got a 6.5 line, which I've added myself. So that's this golden pocket. Most people don't even really know why the hell they're fib retracing, and you don't start with fib retracements. You would come in and plot your support and resistance lines first at minimum before you started playing around with fib extensions, retracements, etc. Okay. The reason why this is important is because there is bots on every exchange, and the bots tend to operate, and a lot of traders tend to operate and cluster on these lines, on these significant Fibonacci sequence lines. Because so many people do it, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it turns into be a great tool to use to give you accuracy within the market with what you're doing and your execution, okay? Just to bring you up to speed, that's kind of why it matters. And so let's say we started here, we plot out, and we see some fairly significant lines, and we've got, and we're at the top. Yeah, there it is. Okay, we've got some confluence with some of my lines that I've plotted. We got the 786 falling in with this line. We got the 50% line damn near snap into this black line that I've got as well. What's going to be very interesting to see, and we'll see in just a couple minutes since we're charting BTC and it is May 3rd, is at the time of doing this, 2018, is that all these, right now there's a lot of calls. If you watch this 8 months from now, you might not remember this, but there's a lot of calls that are saying, hey, we got clear runway to 11,500. Hey, besides a sticking point at 10,000, we're clear to this 11,200 to 11,600 range. And there's a stopping point in 10,000. Well, a lot of those numbers are being derived from Fibonacci sequence. So actually, now that we've got this pink background, I'm going to beef up these lines again. Also, too, now that I've done that with you, I think you'll be able to follow along a little better. And the reason why is because I want to show you, look at how much price action and how much action has happened through this sweet spot, this little golden zone pocket. And look where we are now. Again, remember, this is the daily, okay? The daily chart. So we've got all this action happening through here. You see I've got this significant line drawn out there, which we've gotten a ton of action with. And just real quick, what I consider a significant line is when we've got great action happening and treating it as support, meaning it's bouncing off, and then struggling to break through and treating it as resistance here again. I just use as significant lines. Those are trend lines for me. Whereas this golden pocket here is really a zone and a territory. And we see that we bounced effectively. This is one big bounce. Here's the second bounce. We have bounced off the 786 almost perfectly. So buy-in points, right? People who are brand new are like, Jay, gosh, where should I buy in? If you remember back, if you've been in the Discord, and when we're down here in the, what is this, the 64 to 69 zone, I said, look, you haven't bought in yet, buy in, buy. Now's the time, okay? And look what's happened since. So even this motion here, if you would have trusted old Crazy Jay from the 786 fib line, you would have set your sell orders to what? Well, next logical point is the 618, which is what this yellow line is right here, and where this black line dang near is right here, and it's where we're at right now in the price action, 45% gain. Okay, anyway, let's get back to fibs, baby. Let's do it. So now what we're looking for is, an old school way of doing this is to seek confluence. So what we start doing is we start coming in here and we start fibbing out every single bottom, and we bring it and snap it to the same top. What we're looking for is lines to overlap. So, okay, we snap the first one. Do we got any overlap? It looks like no. This is a little bit thin, but let's grab this one even. Let's make sure, I'm trying to be as accurate as I can with my lines, but as long as they're close, and right there we have our first bit of confluence. And so what would you do? Well, you would just snap a line there. And I've got it mine in black, but I will highlight this. Yeah, let's do green just so you can see which ones you and I have snapped together here on this video. Okay, so we've got that because we've got a minimum of 2 lines overlapping each other. This yellow one is a little bit harder to see. We don't, but that's close in there. Interesting. We'll leave it alone though. 786s are almost lining up, and that's it. You notice this 786 is with one of my black lines that I already have snapped. I've got a line snapped in here, and what do you know? We've got damn near overlap. I got a line snapped in here. That is the 618. I got a line snapped in here. There's overlap, seeing a common theme here. The 50 line, I'm right in there as well. Not perfect, but I'm in there. And so again, those significant zones, they turn into zones really. That's where you put your buy and sell orders on your price action to get your long and short orders, you know, executed, okay? We could do another one if we wanted to. Let's get that snapped in there. Right there we go. And what do we see? Do we see anything? Let's try and start at the top. Overlap there. Okay, finally we've got some overlap here, which once we remove all this, you'll see that these are, again, significant areas. So we've got this kind of starting to line up, but it's too muddy. I'm not going to snap one in there. And then we've got this here and then this here. Okay, so it looks like let's roll with that for now. Cool. Now what we see is, you know, we had quite a bit of these lines covered with what we already had snapped on there. but we've got two brand new lines here. And so if you wanted to just make sure that, oh yeah, I'm not wrong, I'm absolutely correct, what we're looking for is we're looking for interaction on that line, and we absolutely see it. We see it treating it as resistance here, and we see support happening here. Even though we don't have wicks touching, it is interacting in and around that line. We got a Dragon Star Doji here. That gives us a lot of our significant areas, and that's where we place buy and sell orders. So let me just go ahead and remove these. And then the next thing I want to show you is the trend-based fib extension. Where I think a lot of people get this wrong, and I know that I did it at first as well, is that you have to make sure that A is here, B is at the top, C is the correction. So we pull from here, we snap again there, and we pull down to here, and that is how we would actually do that. Okay, so from the trend itself down to the correction, so it has to retrace, and then that's where we snap to. And what do you know, our lines are coming back into play. Actually, you know what, we should have probably left those other two on there. See if I can bring them back up, please. There we go, and let's try this again. Here we go, bottom to the top, don't forget that retracement, and here we go. So yeah, those don't play in on this at all, but what does is the 236 line, which is what we're at and been interacting with right now. Big significant line. So what we can expect, again, if we're taking a look at this trend, here we go, we got a brand new trend happening. So the 236 is a big indicator. Then we got the 382, the 50% line here, 618, 786 here, and then 100% retracement up here. Again, these are the zones that you can expect there to be resistance, meaning that slowdown period. So we're not going to just blow right through this number. You're going to also see that these correlate with a lot of times psychological numbers. Like, look, we have 15,037, but we could just call that $15,000. On the 50%, we got 13,367-ish. So again, a lot of these are psychological numbers. 11,700. What are we interacting with right now? 9,600. A lot of times this has to do with marketing and just psychology, which 9s, 7s, 5s, those tend to do really good, which if you notice, most stuff, especially on the internet, is sold for what? $97, $57, $37, $27, $29. There's not a lot of 29s, 99s. There is, but 7 is more popular. But that's all playing off of natural psychological triggers we've all got. Like, we didn't just, a marketer didn't just create that. That's been around since the beginning of time. So just remember that there'll be a lot of price action around these fib lines, because if nothing else, there'll be bots buying and executing orders, you know, buying and selling orders. And then of course these tend to float around psychological numbers as well with the human psyche, and so that's what we can expect. And then a retracement up here to $20,000. And did I have this actually to the top of the wick? The top of the wick was actually right there, so maybe that adjusted it a little bit. Yeah, so here we go, that makes more sense. We're around 17,000 here, 14,756, that one doesn't really fit, 13,117, 11,000 basically 500, that makes total sense. And then where we're at right now, those are the two tools. These are absolutely a necessity for any day trader or anybody who's looking to swing. So my scalpers and swingers, if you're not already using the fib retracement and the trend extension tool, even though I literally butch those up I think every single time in this video, understand that those are two very important tools to help you future pace what's going to happen in the market. That in combination with everything else you're looking at volume indicators, we're looking at oscillators, we're looking at lagging indicators like MACD, all those put together, mixed with candle and chart reading, and you'll do really, really well. Thank you so much for tuning in to this tutorial video, my friends. See ya. If you like what we're doing on the channel, take a second, hit the subscribe button, click the bell notification.
This just in.
Crypto Junkies is now over 1,000 people. Over 2,500 people. We now have over 3,000 4,600 have crossed over 5,000 people in our Discord chat community.